Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We are your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing?
Well, Tyler, as always, I am strictly chilling. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm chilling, but if I gotta say, just giving you a heads up, we gotta switch up the topic next week, man. This is like what the third straight Marvel episode we are doing. I mean, they're coming out with a lot of content, unlike DC, but
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we're talking about it because they
yeah.
are bringing us content to talk about.
Yeah, so right before Doctor Strange came out, Marvel finished up Moon Knight, possibly the entire series, possibly season one. We have our thoughts about it. We'll talk obviously about the second half and the series as a whole. We'll give our recommendation and we'll give a nice quick little ranking and updating the Marvel Studios shows. So, with all 6 episodes out, Mike, what'd you think?
Well, anyone who listened to our first episode on this knows I wasn't really the biggest fan of it. It's not that I didn't like the show, I just had some issues with it. What I can say about the second half is it kind of fixed a lot of the problems I had with the show.
I mean, there was one episode in particular, I think episode 5, I think, answered almost every single question and complaint you had.
Yeah, pretty much. So I will give the show, the praise it deserves. Now, as much as I'm not a fan of how they told that throughout the story, I'm glad they still filled us in. Nonetheless, I feel like it kind of made the show better, in my opinion, knowing kind of what this guy's about. I mean, in hindsight, I guess I do understand why they told it this way because he himself is trying not to bring up those memories of being an abused child and
I mean,
basically creating the split personality, essentially where he. So did he kind of like he mentally snapped then as a child?
Yeah, no, because as a child to handle beatings, he made Steven.
Correct.
So he had the disorder as of like, what, 12, 13 years old since then.
Yeah, but here's an unanswered question. When the fuck did Jacob come into the picture?
If I had to guess, I'm going to assume it's his time in the military. Maybe he could, like, Mark can fight, but he's more of a clean fighter. Jake seems no holds barred. He will fuck up anyone and anything. So I do wonder if while in the military and then moving on to his mercenary life, if
I think it manufactured in his mercenary life.
yeah, like some of the missions he couldn't handle, and then boom, Jake was there to handle that burden.
Correct. Because Mark did have the training, so he couldn't have blacked out that much in the military to switch personalities because he wouldn't have been as skilled as he was. You know what I mean? Like Steven was
Jake
never
seems
in
to be very rare
that.
too, because even Mark is not aware of him. Really, I mean, he knows something. There's something wrong by the end of the show. Like when they had the final fight, he's like, "Okay, so that definitely wasn't any of us." So he knows there's someone else, but the fact that he's gone on this long and he doesn't even know the guy's name, doesn't even know Jake's name. That's okay.
Here's another good question. What if Jake actually manifested from Khonshu? Because Jake chooses when to come out. And he, as we know, he's the last identity to be manufactured, right? Or be created, split off from the
If there is a season 2,
I don't want to keep it manufactured.
I want to hear, like, if there is a season 2, we need to know, how does Jake have the ability to force himself to come out whenever?
Yeah.
Like, why does he get that? Because Mark has to get Steven to agree, and Steven kind of has to agree. Now, I do appreciate last episode, since they're on the same page, they can swap back and forth instantaneously. But that's only because they agree to work together and they're friends.
Yeah.
Jake, if he needs to hijack, he will. But you would think, you think if Mark is the OG, right? And we're assuming Mark's the OG, he should be able to hijack his own body back. So you might be onto something where it's maybe Khonshu has some influence on that.
The only reason why I feel like Khonshu has influence on that is because you saw how chill Khonshu was in the end. Like, oh yeah, like I already knew this was gonna happen. Me and Jake are boys. Like, so like in my mind, Khonshu seems to be the type of god that would, not only just use this broken man as his vessel, but also break him a little bit further, more for Khonshu's.
I mean, he loves Jake. No questions asked. Does whatever he's required. He loves the violence. He's the perfect person for Khonshu.
Correct. I feel like they're
shout out to Khonshu. stealing Steven's look. He looks nice in that suit.
Yeah, but that kind of just shows you how relaxed Khonshu was around Jake himself.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack with that, which I'm glad we finally saw Jake. I really am.
I mean, they teased him so hard. If they were going to be like, oh, well, if we
God.
get a season 2, you'll see Jake. No.
They fucking teased him in the last episode. God damn it!
They teased him in the first. They teased him in the last.
Like right, because that would have been the perfect moment to finally see him, and we still didn't.
Yeah,
I get it. Fight choreography would probably be too expensive.
I think though, if there's one time where if we're going to see a proper Jake fight, the finale should have been it.
Yeah, which just makes us believe a little bit more that there probably will be a second season.
Yeah, because we got to see how he fights. I mean, every time we cut back to him, Mark is a bloody mess. There's a bunch of dead people around him. Like,
yeah, and both of them are like,
it's like if John Wick showed up, fucked everything up, and then walked away.
Pretty much. Near death. This turns into a John Wick story. But also that's another thing that I really did enjoy, the back and forth combat from Steven and Mark. I thought they did that very well.
Especially the last episode was definitely the best fight scene.
Yeah. Like I said, the second half of the show was a lot stronger, in my opinion, than the first.
Yeah, I would agree with basically almost everything you said. The one thing I will disagree with you on is how the pacing and how they showed the backstory. I think dropping us right into the middle of his story when even Steven is not aware of what's happening, I thought kind of like being put into his shoes, fish out of water kind of story. I did like
this character, but the created character of the main character.
Yeah, I think that was smart, because if we just started with Mark, like post trying to get the scarab and all that, I think we wouldn't care as much. But it's like you start off nice and light, awkward time at the museum, and then you just descent further into this story. I think it works really well. But I think we should shine a light a little bit on the other characters that make this great. Layla, she did great the past few episodes. She's, I think I saw online, technically the first Egyptian superhero for Marvel now, or at least for the MCU. So that's great. Also, her suit's better than Falcon's, let me tell you.
It really is. That was a badass suit, man.
So she was great, and I hope honestly, one thing that disappointed me about the finale, and I thought the finale is one of the better finales for a Marvel show. For it being one of the shorter episodes, it was almost perfectly paced, which I was surprised at. But I do feel we needed an ending scene with Mark and Layla to see where they stand relationship wise. The fact that we just cut right to, well, it's been a few months. Mark and Steven are in the bed, tied up in London. It's like, okay, like you did start the series with will they not get a divorce or finalize that? So are they together? Are they share? What is this? Clearly that's a season 2 thing, but you would think after everything they've gone through, they'd be sitting down at a restaurant or talking for a few minutes. Let's talk about Ethan Hawke, though. That character was committed to the cause to even die after releasing that New God. That's commitment.
It was.
Still never explained the glass in the shoe kind of thing. That's
nope.
Just
still goes unquestioned. I guess that's atonement for his scales being unbalanced, but they never come outright and say it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what else do you expect from Ethan Hawke? The man's a legend.
But I can also see why he probably signed on to the show. He's a one and done kind of guy for the MCU, which that's fine.
Oh yeah, which he's probably one of the best one and done characters we've seen.
Yeah. I was surprised with a lot of the back lore with the Egyptian gods. The hippo one, I thought she was actually pretty funny, and when Steven died for a period of time, I think she was actually good, around that time to laugh it up a little bit. She's a very lighthearted character. Khonshu actually willing to fight the other Egyptian god, because he didn't know at that time if Mark was, he thought Mark was dead at that time. So the fact that he's actually, as much as he really is a dickhead to how he treats Mark and Steven, the fact that he believes enough in what he's saying that, all right, I know I'm probably going to lose this fight, and Mark's dead, or at least that's what Layla told me, I'm still going to try and fight her.
Yeah.
To try and save humanity, which, Respect.
He is technically a hero for that reason.
He is. He's honestly, he's like a perfect definition of like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
What he fights for is good. He wants to dispense justice, but he does it in the worst ways possible.
Oh yeah.
What else?
The
You know,
CGI held up pretty well throughout the entire show, and
it did. It did.
they definitely relied on it heavily in the last couple episodes.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. I did have I did happen to see that She-Hulk trailer yesterday, and oof.
Let's not get into that yet.
I'm just saying, CGI is gonna need a little work there. I will say for Moon Knight, pretty solid for the most part.
Yeah, I mean it was better than the
Yeah,
final fight in Black Panther.
that is true. That is true.
Granted, technology's come a long way.
Let's see. So, I think what would you want to see from a season 2? Actually, hold on. Before you answer that question, I remembered what I forgot. We were both completely wrong on the other Egyptian gods being evil, especially the guy in the suit. Turns out he's just a dumbass.
Yeah, they were all just.
What? You freed her? Yeah.
They all just did nothing.
Yeah, Khonshu told you, Mark told you, and you just shocked Ethan Hawke strolling in here with the new god. Like, maybe it should be a crime to dig in Egypt. Just saying.
Or how about investigate it yourself for a little bit? Like that, he brought it to your attention. Why don't you actually check to see if it's valid or not? You're gonna have a sit down phone. Hey, this person said that you were doing this thing that we don't like. Are you doing that? No, man, of course not. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, man, he's not doing it. Like,
it's like, well, Kanji, we just don't trust you, and now we're just gonna. It's like they were looking for an excuse to lock him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, season 2. What are you hoping to see? Because they left a lot open.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to find out Mark and Steven's reaction to still being under Khonshu's shadow. Like when they realize that, like, wait a minute, hold on.
But to be fair, Khonshu did not lie. I remember at the end of the episode, like, fine, I'll free you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of letter of the law stuff.
He did not free the being itself.
And technically, he did free both of them. They both don't have. I guess they don't have the power anymore, too. It's going to be interesting, too, because, like, now if you want Moon Knight, you have to go to Jake. And then the question is, what does his suit look like?
Yeah.
Because he's got to have a suit. Like, obviously, he didn't dress up for that in the asylum, but.
Does he need one, I guess?
I mean, you're telling me Khonshu's going to dress like that around Jake and he's not going to give him a suit? Come on.
That's true. It's probably going to be some next type suit.
Yeah. So we got a Mark, Steven, and Jake interaction. How do they handle the fact that Jake is the only one now that can be Moon Knight?
We're gonna have another personality.
That's assuming there's not a fourth. Khonshu does say Mark doesn't know how broken he really is. That's accurate.
Very.
We assume there has to be a new big bad, because obviously you can't have Moon Knight without proper Moon Knight. So something's obviously going to happen to where they're like, fine, we'll work with Khonshu again.
Yeah, but I have zero guesses who that could be.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe Layla gets in trouble and they're like, fine, we'll do it to save her or whatever, because clearly they can't trust Jake, or they will not be willing to trust Jake enough to save her and save others.
Yeah.
They know they can get the job done, at least.
That is true.
Also, maybe if Jake can give Mark and Steven some of that money he has, apparently, that'd be nice.
But it's Mark's money.
What's Mark's money? Why is he staying in that apartment?
Did you see the license plate?
Yeah, I saw the license plate, but I'm like, all right.
What was the name on it?
Yeah. No, I know, but it's like, you
feel like the one who doesn't have money.
Yeah, but, well, that did answer a question as to how Steven working at a gift shop could afford the rent. I get that.
Yeah.
But like, you think now that it's more open that, Mark and Steven know each other, do you think you'd upgrade the apartment? I'm just saying. But also, if it's Mark's money, wouldn't he know Jake rented that limo to murder the guy?
Here's also the other thing. When's the last time you saw a custom plate with the guy's last name on a rented car? So that's Mark's car. Mark owns that car.
See, now it just leaves me with more questions, like, how rich is he? right? Clearly has enough for the rent for the apartment by himself. He has the car. He owns the car.
Being a merc does pay.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah, honestly, they left it so open that it could go anywhere.
Yeah.
It has to hit on a couple of the plot points, like what happens with Mark and Layla. Are they together? Are they not? Is she still the what is it?
Yeah, I forget the name. Is she still like with the Egyptian goddess? Because she kind of
Correct.
said it was like a one-time thing. But
Yeah, but after she did all that, you're telling me she's not like, hey, this is actually kind of
yeah,
sick, and
also
we
that's a
vibe
friendly
well.
god. Considering all the gods we've
Yeah,
seen so far, that's like the friendliest one.
yeah, that's probably like one of the best gods you'd want to be the host of, essentially.
Oh, and respect to Layla. And I did like this about the show because you had a throughout the entire show, like a will they, won't they have Layla take over as Khonshu's avatar. And when he asks, she's like, no, why would I?
Yep,
That's crazy. Look what you've done to my husband.
that's a fact.
It's like, all right, respect. We're not going to drag this any longer. She's like, I know what you are. I don't want it. And she got an
Yeah,
upgrade out of that too.
she did. She turned into something actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Looks like a badass.
So I think moving on to our recommendations, it's an easy yes for me. It's a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. How the show ended made up for the slights I had
Mhm.
watching the first couple episodes. Maybe because I'm impatient.
Like as a whole package, it comes together strong.
Yeah, it does. As the full story, it's beautifully told, I will
Mhm.
say.
All right. So with the new show done, that means we have our new rankings. So we have to rank WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, and Moon Knight. So do you have your list ready or should I go first?
I kind of want to hear yours first. 'Cause mine's ready.
Okay. All right. So for me, updated list, and some of them did move around a bit. Last place is going to be Hawkeye. Then I'm going to put down WandaVision. I feel I'm missing one. No, I'm not. Falcon and Winter Soldier in third place, Moon Knight in second, and right now at least, Loki is still number one.
Yeah, I I I agree with your list. I do.
Mm-hmm. But
A part of me still wants to put Falcon and Winter Soldier above Moon Knight.
really,
Yeah, everything else on your list is pretty spot on. I don't know. Falcon Winter Soldier, I definitely did have a lot of problems with, but kind of seeing, the toll everything had on Bucky and the actual why Sam didn't want the shield. I felt like it was a more compelling story at the time. But you know what? That's just my personal list. Anyone is free to disagree with either you or me. And if they would like to, as always, you can find us at Entertainment Expansion. Look us up on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. As always, thank you for listening.